people are so easy to control. Dance for me, puppets, dance!
Alright guys, welcome back to another Destiny 2 build video, and today what I have for you is my Poison Puppet Master build. Now this is probably something you can run solo and also with friends, but I think this is going to be primarily my GM build. Ultimately what this piece of equipment revolves around is necrotic grips. Now for those of you that don't really care about the build or what I have to say, but only want like the good stuff, then here you go. Broodweaver, we are running the necrotic grips with the austere striga. Now if you want to stick around on how I would change these two weapons, feel free to do so, but ultimately at the top make sure that you've got the threat of generation, mind warding and isolation, and I'll discuss isolation as well. So let's start with the build. In terms of the fragments, which I'll discuss first, we're running a threat of mind because you will be suspending targets all the time and you'll be getting your class ability back a lot because of it, which means you will spawn a lot of threadlings to help you and you'll have a lot of sustainability. This is just a no-brainer. Threat of generation to get your grenade energy back as soon as possible, and the fact that you're playing with the austere striga that almost always gives you crit hits, that feeds really well into threat of isolation, landing rapid precision hits amidst a severing burst from the target. So you will be consuming your grenade, making everything levitate because of it, because as soon as you kill something they will pretty much expand into the air. They'll be sitting there unable to attack you back, and you'd be able to continue to hit them with those crit hits, which obviously procs the poison on the weapon, but at the same time also emits a severing burst, doing an additional amount of damage. And then of course we've got threat of warming because we want woven mail. Now at the top we're running healing rift because that helps with sustainability. Even though you might have woven mail, this is not a build that's going to create an excess amount of orbs, so you are going to need this for a bit of sustainability. You can run here what you want, you can't change anything here, but you're running the shackle grenade because of what you get in this. Press and hold to consume your shackle grenade and activate Weaver's Trance. Final blows while Weaver's Trance is active create a suspending detonation. So you'll effectively, this is the way I play it, you'll do a bit of damage in a group of enemies using the Deafening Whisper. It's the wave frame, because you will have also volatile rounds, and as soon as you do that you'll switch back to your austere while you've already consumed your grenade and pretty much expend everything around it, because they will already have taken damage, so it would be much faster to do the damage, and you should be fine in that respect. Now of course if you're coming up against barriers, you're going to have to be a bit smarter. Either you're going to have volatile rounds to be able to proc that and destroy the barrier, or you can run something like the Grid Skipper to sort you out on that respect, or like a sidearm. I don't know which one I usually use, but there's a sidearm to do that as well. But effectively it revolves around necrotic grips and the austere striga. So that pretty much covers what we have here. This is the only two aspects that you can run: Weaver's Call, casting your rift with the threadlings, and this which allows you to consume your grenade. So It's quite powerful to play this way. In terms of the weapon, we've already discussed the Austere. We've already discussed the rationale between Death and Whisper, why we do that. Of course, switch that out for Good Skipper if you want to deal with barrier enemies. In terms of the retrofit, I love playing the retrofit because of the fact that I've got a really good roll on it. But one thing I probably would recommend to capitalize a bit more on the Ascendant Scepter, the artifact, would be to run something like Circular Logic that's got an Envious Assassin and something else on it. I prefer Envious Assassin or Hatchling, or Envious Assassin and a Golden Tricorn, because those are the strongest ones that I currently have. It really just helps with destroying, tangles, and especially if you've got a Strand Surge, it really does help with that. This is the Scepter. Of course, we're not benefiting from this or any of these three at the moment, but that's not a big deal because we're running the retrofit. If we run the Strand version of the machine gun, probably to spec out of this into this, and we'll be able to benefit from this as well. In terms of just the breakdown, it's probably best to show it this way, but we're running a double kinetic siphon because you're going to be using your Striga all the time. Also got a kinetic loader to help you, get that constant damage up as much as possible. Can argue that this is not necessary because with the Striga you might, get a lot of bullets back for doing critical hits. So it might not be that necessary. Feel free to switch that out for something else of your liking. This is not a build breaker. We're running one grenade kickstart and then one impact induction to get our grenade back as soon as possible, because we want to consume it consistently so we have Reaver's Trance available. Running double void reserves, feel free to add like damage reducting kind of area of effect damage or range or whatever damage, and you should be sorted. We're only playing with charged up and not stack on stacks at the bottom because we don't really need more than 3 armor charges available to capitalize on the benefits of that in terms of grenade kickstart, utility kickstart, and kinetic weapon surge that we're running at the bottom. I'm primarily running insulation. You guys know I run recuperation all the time, but I'm running insulation because we want to have that extra sustainability alongside this. But alongside our class ability, we also create threadlings, which does a lot of damage as well. Reducing your grenade cooldown when you're using your class ability is also key, because you can pretty much cast your class ability, consume your grenade while you're standing in the rift, you'll be good to go. And of course, we also have this, where we are effectively just creating orbs of power, because as I've mentioned before, the only way you're going to create orbs of power is either with kinetic kills or via this. And then of course, utility kickstart for obvious reasons. So, that's the build, the Poison Puppet Master build. I hope you guys enjoy it. I've really had a good time with it. Let me know how you would make it better, what else you would run with it. Of course, there is the option of running the Thorn hand cannon up here as well. It would do a similar type of roll, but will also drop remnants. That would increase your next shot, which is also strong, but I prefer the Striga because of the benefits associated with getting crit hits really easily, those tracking rounds. And here at the bottom, you can always run like the Le Monarch bow. If you want to run into bow, if you want to do GM solo content, or if it's a map that requires you to do long range damage, you can always get the bow in here, just like a void type build. Guys, there you have it. I hope this is useful. Just a final disclaimer before the video, I've got 1 or 2 more builds after this one available that I think is worth uploading, which means that we might not have weekend, like meaning weekly build uploads anymore, because to be honest, I'm just running out of ideas, and I don't want to just copy what everyone else is doing. There will always be similarities, but there's no point in me already publishing a build that's already been published. So it is probably going to slow down a bit, but as soon as we come up with a good idea, continue to publish content on it. Take care of yourselves. Appreciate the support. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.